Hey, what's happening, guys? Anthony here with the Silver Screen Analysis, bringing you another great video. And today I have a special guest to join in with me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Greg. I host a movie channel on my channel. It's called Movie Men Reviews. I review a bunch of movies. I do top 5 lists. I do trailer reactions, all that jazz. So that's what I like to do, and I'm happy to be on your channel, Anthony.
We have a great couple videos lined up for you, getting ready for War for the Planet of the Apes. In this video, we're going to be doing Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It was the first film in the rebooted trilogy. We're also going to be doing Dawn of the Planet of the Apes over on Movie Men Reviews, so definitely make sure to check that video out. Also, this is going to be spoiler-filled, so if you haven't seen this movie yet, be warned, we're probably going to give away some plot details. And this was a pretty good movie. It was starring James Franco, as well as Andy Serkis and Frida Pinto, as well as John Lithgow and Brian Cox. The synopsis in this one is pretty simple. You have a scientist that's working on an experimental drug. They're testing it on chimpanzees. It's a drug that can basically rebuild and regenerate human brain cells, and they're almost about to go to human trials when they have an accident inside the lab, and they basically shut everything down. And one of their prize chimpanzees, nicknamed Bright Eyes, was showing a lot of great results, and she also had a baby, and that baby was named Caesar. It was a male, and a scientist takes it home and basically keeps it a secret from everyone and raises it almost like a son of his, and eventually kind of things turn the wrong paths. They get caught, the ape gets taken away, and Caesar has to live in captivity for the first time, and it really just changes his emotional swing as he kind of learns where his real place is in the world, and it kind of just threatens the human civilization, and that's pretty much the plot of this one. So what did you think about the story overall in this movie?
I thought this was a great movie. I thought it was a super strong story, and if you really think about it, it's actually somewhat of an origin story based on Caesar. He starts off as a baby monkey, and you get to see just the growth of him as James Franco is taking care of him. And seeing the transformation from Caesar as somewhat in a way part of the family, but also kind of a pet of James Franco, you get to see his story at home, and then when he has that scene where he bites the guy's finger off, which was amazing, by the way, and then he has to get sent to that containment place with the other monkeys, and you really get to see him from a pet form into the rise of the leader of the apes, which I just thought was amazing. So that aspect of the story I just thought was fantastic.
I completely agree with you on that. I really think that this story was an excellent foundation. You can definitely tell that they had a trilogy in mind. This wasn't going to be just an isolated movie, so it really gave them the time to develop everything. It's like you said, they developed Caesar from just a baby all the way up into kind of the start of his adolescence, and it also did a great job of kind of feeling the motivation for the human characters. I think John Lithgow was excellent in this movie. He really kind of nails his scenes, and he really captures that, you know, his health is deteriorating, and you really can get behind James Franco's character. You can buy into his motivation, and it really ties in as well with the scientific aspect of it, how they created that ALZ 112 that is the original vaccine, and then once, you know, the new kind of stage of chimpanzees come in, they start having the green in their eyes, and it's the ALZ 113, which ends up being the end of human civilization as that. And I thought all of those things were extremely well balanced. So going into the performances, what did you think of them overall? Is there anything that stood out for you?
Yeah, actually, surprisingly, John Lithgow's performance was my favorite performance in the entire movie, besides Caesar, obviously, but I'm talking like human performances. John Lithgow, I've only known him as a comedic actor from, you know, sitcoms that he's done and, you know, funny movies and everything, but I've never seen him in such a serious role where he actually had to act like somebody who had Alzheimer's, or dementia, whatever he had, and he was losing his mind. And the way he just portrayed that type of character, I was insanely impressed with that kind of guy. And I also want to talk about James Franco, because I'm a huge James Franco fan. Like, if you know me or you watch some of my reviews, I basically praise James Franco. He's one of my favorite actors. I think he's hilarious. But the problem that I have with James Franco is sometimes when he's in a serious role, he's not as good of an actor as he is when he's, you know, that stoner type in all his goofy comedy movies. So I was a little bit let down with Franco's performance because I hadn't seen this movie in years, and then I went back to watch it for this review, and I was a little taken back with some of his emotions. Like, some of them were really good, but then some of them missed me.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. His character was very serviceable for what it needed. It didn't really thrive at all. He didn't elevate the material very much. He kind of felt not overacted, but a lot of his just emotions kind of felt scripted, which I guess doesn't really hinder the film at all, because the true star was Andy Serkis as Caesar. I mean, they took a digital character, a computer creation, and they made it like a living, breathing character that had, feelings and emotions, and you get to see that balance of how it grows and evolves from his childhood, and as things impact his life, he really just takes on different things, and he develops his personality and different traits, and he learns very fast. And it really, I think the performance is what actually pulls that off, because normally you wouldn't think that a computer character could take over the lead in a movie, especially a summer blockbuster like this was, and they absolutely did it. And I think other than Lithgow, I think all the human performances were kind of just serviceable. Brian Cox was pretty good, and I think those, the two assholes that are kind of in the care facility for the animals, they kind of serve their role. Nobody really stands out as great, though. I mean, which is actually kind of cool, because it lets Caesar just thrive throughout the whole thing. So, what did you think about the special effects?
Okay, I was really looking forward to this part of the review. Special effects were amazing the first time I saw it. I was completely blown away. I was like, I can't believe, this movie came out, I believe, 2000... What year did it come out, Anthony?
2011.
Yeah, this movie came out in 2011, and back in 2011, I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen in a movie, special effects-wise. These monkeys look absolutely real. But now, being 2017, 6 years later, I went back, and when I watched it, I could definitely tell that these monkeys were animated, and it had a different kind of feel, so that took me a little bit out of the movie, just because of the fact that you could definitely tell, especially the baby monkey Caesar, that didn't look very well. Caesar, at points, his face, when they would have like close-ups on him, looked really, really good. I thought the CGI was fantastic in that aspect, but when you see them walking around, they kind of don't have that natural flow that real people have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely agree with that. I think the best elements of the special effects were, I think the budget was put into Caesar's face, trying to make him just develop those expressions and all those mannerisms, which worked. And I think they kind of masked some of the special effects with some great camera work, because I think the camera work was still fantastic and it still holds up. I mean, when they're swinging under the bridge and then they're going through the canopy of the trees, I mean, those long fluid shots were excellent and they still hold up. And on its own, actually, the special effects in this movie wouldn't look so bad, and then you go watch Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and it is a drastic increase. So I think that one kind of makes it stand out too. But I thought the special effects held up, and this was a story-driven movie. It was, it did have some adventure in the end, but it definitely relied on the storytelling throughout. But I thought, that whole bridge sequence with a lot of the aerial shots and stuff like that was able to kind of mask some of the things that they weren't able to do with, probably what they had already spent on the budget with Caesar. So I think overall, though, they still hold up pretty good. So what are your overall thoughts on this movie? Pros, cons, and then we'll cap it off with a grade for you.
I definitely think the pros of this movie is definitely John Lithgow. Like I said, he was my favorite character besides Caesar. He was my favorite human character. I think his performance was really, really good. It definitely was better than every other performance, in my opinion. And even the performance, like you were saying, about the guy who's in his suit with the dots all over his body, portraying an ape. The way that guy moved, it was so monkey-like, and I just thought it was amazing. So those are the pros that I have, along with the fact that the action was super awesome in this movie. Again, like you were saying, on the bridge, the Golden Gate Bridge, when you have those aerial shots of like the apes and the gorillas and the smaller monkeys, all of them, they're running and they're just invading all the cars on the bridge. It's like, it's fantastic. It's one of those scenes that just like lifts the hairs off your arm with goosebumps, because it's just done so well. So those are my pros. My cons, again, James Franco. I love that dude. He'll be one of my favorite actors for a long time. But he's just not that kind of actor, in my opinion. He's not the kind of actor you want to see in a serious role. You want to see him smoking a J, goofing off with his buddies in stoner flicks. You don't really want to see him taking a super, serious role. So that, and then again, the monkeys are a little bit dated with the CGI, but the CGI is great. It's passable. It's good. It's good enough for this movie to still be awesome. But if I had to have any cons, those would probably be my only two cons. So what I would rate this movie percentage-wise is I would probably give this an 85% out of 100, because it's nowhere near a perfect movie. It's definitely better than most movies. It's definitely better than majority of the movies out there that, I would give like a 75 to 80% rating out there. But there's a little bit of CGI that doesn't look too good to me. Some of the performances could have been better. So for me, I got to give it, a solid B.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, some of my pros for this movie were definitely the time spent in building the foundation for the rest of the story that was going to play out. Another pro would easily be Caesar and Andy Serkis. Like you said, the motion capture work that they did are what made this work. And I'll give this movie credit. I mean, they took a chance. They went with more of a dramatic theme and a storytelling angle as opposed to action because, other than a couple scenes here and there, a lot of the action doesn't kick in till the end. And it still works and it makes an entertaining movie. And I would also agree another excellent pro would be John Lithgow as well. He is lasting and memorable in basically each of his scenes that he has. He really makes that swing from losing his health to getting his health back to losing it again. That really just it pulls the emotional swing that it needs it to. And I would say on the cons, I would say the movie is a little bit slow. I think it serves its purpose much better as a first piece of a trilogy. As far as Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is a great movie on its own, regardless if it's had this first movie or regardless of War of the Planet of the Apes ever came out. I think this one is better with that other, the other two films that are going to follow. I don't think it really stands on its own that much. I think it kind of leaves a lot. It doesn't really develop itself like it should have. As far as the human characters, I thought they were kind of just there and a little bit kind of generic. Like you said, James Franco, I think he could have did better. I think Frida Pinto and some of the characters were just kind of there. But I'd say my overall grade on this one would probably be 90%. I mean, I really enjoyed it. If you watch my reviews, I'm all nitpicky about character development. If a movie doesn't develop its characters, I don't really like that. And I was all pulled in on Caesar. I thought this was an excellent swing. When it's emotional, it's emotional. When it's intense, it's intense. So for that, it all works. So let everybody know where they can find you one more time.
Yeah, you can find me on my YouTube channel, Movie Men Reviews. Please subscribe to that if you decide to check me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter at moviemen_. I'm really big on Instagram. That's moviemen_reviews. So if you want to come check me out, those are the places you can find me.
Definitely check out his channel, guys. He has a good blend of personality with his movie reviews. He really critiques them well. He's got a lot of good, valid opinions, even on movies he doesn't like. He just doesn't say he hates them. He's got some solid content on there, so definitely check him out. The links are going to be all in the description box below. Also, stay tuned. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes spoiler review coming up on Movie Men Reviews. Hope you enjoyed this review, guys. Make sure to drop it a like if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe so you never miss anything new. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you at the movies.